Alrighty, folks, it is true. It is very, very true that foreclosures are rising. We're going to talk about, in fact, some deals that Jonathan is looking at. But again, foreclosures are rising. To be clear, we're not talking 2010. We're just talking rising. But anytime it's a rise in foreclosures, it does mean there is opportunities, especially in a market where people are getting scared. There's even more opportunities. But before we get into rising foreclosures, we want to clarify something we spoke about last week's seconds and HELOCs. Jonathan, take it away.
All right. Thank you so much. The video last week was a great hit in terms of HELOCs versus seconds. A lot of people reaching out. Unfortunately, I think some people missed the part where I started talking about the states that we can do the actual HELOCs in. So we've been talking to a lot of people, but however, it's not a bad thing because at least it provides you with the information to be able to, if we can't help you, you can at least go somewhere else to potentially help you if they have that product, or you can always just pivot into a second. So I wanted to kind of split apart the difference between a second loan, right, when they say a HE loan, and then also a HELOC, because there's a lot of confusion in between the two. Some people try to use them interchangeably, but it's incorrect. So a HELOC is a home equity line of credit. Line of credit, home equity line of credit, HELOC. You'll hear those three terms for that specific product. And what that means is it's a revolving line of credit. So you use it.
Yeah. That's the key. Is you can use it, pay it down, use it again. It's very much, I'll say the word you did, it, credit card, right?
Yeah.
I have a balance. I can run it up to that balance. I can pay it down. I could reuse it's a reusable thing.
Exactly. And there's also even credit cards that I think it's like Rise or some credit card even. There was some credit card or something I saw recently on social media that has a line of credit on a literal credit card. Anyways, they have that. So it's like a revolving line of credit that you can use and spend. There's a draw period, which is typically 3, 5, or 10 years. That means that you can pull from that period. And then there's a payback period, which means that, hey, your balance is fixed in and you have to pay it back in that certain period of time. So that's important to note on the HELOC side. On the second loan side, where it's a HE loan or a second fixed, it's a fixed 30-year loan, 20 or 30 years. And it's a second loan that goes behind your first position loan, but it gives you all the cash up front. And all you're doing is paying it back. So key difference between the two. Yeah.
And again, the key here was, I think I remember the conversation we were talking about. You were announcing a HELOC for a small list of states, 8 to 10 or 11 states. It wasn't all 50, obviously. But it was for 2 through 4 units, which is probably why people got really excited.
Yeah.
And what I hear you talking about was great. We got excitement, so that's awesome. But hey, if you can't service if it's in one of the other 40 states, a second, I want to be clear. Can you do seconds in all 50 states?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So you can cover the other 40. So again, if you have a fourplex that you bought in 2020 and it's doubled in value, your first mortgage is at 2.8% because you were house hacking. You're sitting on $300,000 or more in equity, and you're in a state that you can't get a HELOC, you could get a second.
Yeah.
What I would tell someone considering a second is, please have a plan. The second's going to be what? Call it 10% interest?
Anywhere between, yeah, probably 11, 12, 13.
Yeah. So it's going to be double digits. So make sure you're using that appropriately.
Yeah.
Right. Believe me, I have paid 12% interest on money. I paid 12% interest on millions of dollars before, but I was making 25%.
Yeah.
So just make sure you're using it appropriately.
And the plan also too is like when you're doing a second loan and you're like, I want to get a second, don't just get a second loan just to have the cash in that point. You have to be ready to deploy it, right? So
that's the difference. Yes.
Difference between a HELOC and a second as well is the deployment factor. I can get you a second loan, no problem, but I don't want you to take the second out. And I've told listeners this. I said, hey, if you don't need it right now, don't pull it out. Tell me when you need it.
Why pay 12 and stick it in a 5% money market or whatever? That's stupid. That is dumb.
So just only pull it out when you're ready to do something. If you have something on the horizon, you're ready to buy. If you're trying to buy, and this is actually interesting, I'm having some clients pull money out of a second loan and then use the small balance, like 60, 70 grand, to go buy cash flowing houses in like Alabama for cash.
Yeah, it can happen. Yeah, that's
Because
fine.
that's a
Yeah.
good return on your money.
Yeah, I mean, if you're, yeah, that's, there are reasons that I have borrowed at 12%. And again, it's because I was making 25. I promise you this, I would borrow $1 billion
Yeah,
and pay 12% if I could make 25%.
100%.
Yeah, it's
You're
just,
netting 13 positive every single month. You just,
yeah, yeah. Thank you.
um,
I'll take 130 million bucks. Thank you very much.
here you
All
go.
right. Well, yeah. Let's switch gears to foreclosures. Before we started, before I hit the record button, you told me you were super excited to end this conversation, and I'm like, dude, that's insulting. But then you told me it was because you were going to get on the road to go check out a couple of foreclosures.
Yeah.
So foreclosures are up across the country. They're actually up 500% from 2 years ago. Don't get too excited. They're up from 8 to 40,000, but they're up.
Yeah.
So what are you seeing out there with foreclosure land?
Well, it's still, I feel like everyone's doing kind of a good job of keeping it a little quiet, right? I feel
Yeah.
like it hasn't, you know what I mean? I feel like it really hasn't hit the streets yet. And I think that's the key part. This is when people start, and we kind of talked about this, I think 2 videos ago, where we were like, hey, look up notice of defaults, reach out to the top,
NODs, yeah.
like
Yeah.
look at those people like that, and
It's funny. You and I talked a couple weeks ago about PropStream.
yeah,
I'm actually bringing PropStream back on Monday because I think it's time for folks to get to start doing the work with PropStream because they have a unique platform. They obviously offer my community a discount, which I really appreciate. But yeah, I'm bringing PropStream back on Monday just to remind people of how powerful it is to go find NODs and you know the, it's just pretty cool. Sorry.
yeah, and that's what I've been doing and what I've had clients do, like my personal clients. So I'm meeting a client out there and an agent out there and myself to check out in San Bernardino. I'm not gonna, no gatekeeping from,
Yeah.
our listeners. Going out San Bernardino, gonna go check out a few like foreclosures and probates that have been put on the market.
Yep. Been lingering.
Yep. To buy, flip it, and then, decide whether we want to keep it for a little longer or,
Yeah.
just sell it to the market. Because anything under 550 right now in that area is selling quick.
I keep telling. So I talked to Omar, which I'm Omar and Adrian, both legends in Southern California market. If you can get something below the median at an ARV that allows you to do a full FHA remodel, those things fly off the shelf.
Yeah,
Fly. It's crazy.
100%. And so, the deal that we're looking at, there's two side by side. It'll
Ooh,
be,
nice.
yeah, it's 360 is the price that they just want us to cover the cost of the note on the first that they're defaulted on,
Yep.
and then just the fees to
Yeah.
finish like the probate and the foreclosure.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah. I like it.
yeah, so 360. We're probably gonna go and see how much work we need to go in there with, like maybe 50, 60 grand, and then take it from there to sell it for in the market at 520, 530, which is
Shoot,
around
499. Shoot.
easy.
Blow it out.
Yeah,
Easy. Take.
easy. And then it should, I mean, in theory, not even in theory, because of the lack of inventory of like decent
Oh,
housing out there, done. I feel like it'll
done.
just be gone.
It'll
And
be gone. Below the
yeah.
median. The key is below the median FHA quality,
Mm-hmm.
right? FHA inspections, all of that stuff. You bring it up to that quality, it'll fly off the shelf.
Done. So
And the beauty of this process, just to tie it together, is you can do this in your backyard. You could drive
mhm,
to it. And then you're going to just because I know you're going to take that chunk money, call it 50 grand after fees and all of that, and go buy something in Ohio. That's what you're going to do. I know it. I know that's what you're going to do.
absolutely. But you have to keep getting creative in the markets that we're in, right? And this is the same thing I'm encouraging my clients as well. Everyone, all of my clients that like clients turn friends are all now looking with me in like, hey, can we look at development projects? Can we look at value add projects? Can we look at even blank land? Like, how are we going to turn this blank land? Can we
Yeah.
RTI it, right?
Yeah.
And then sell it.
RTI means
RTI.
what to the audience?
Oh, the ready to issue plans and permits that have been approved.
Yep.
You
Ready
basically
to move
like
dirt.
shovel ready. Yeah.
Shovel
And
ready. Yeah.
yeah, and those plans, lands with RTI on it are very valuable.
Yeah.
Those fly off shelves too. So it's like, there's a lot of strategies right now that I'm personally taking into like consideration when I'm investing. And also I'm having my clients get involved as well of like, hey, like I'll help you set
Yeah.
everything up. I'll help you structure it. Like this is how you get wealthy right now, while everyone else is panicking about buying a single family residence house and overpaying for it because,
Yeah.
now that everyone's given up.
Yep. Yeah. Buyers going on tilt really does create opportunities. And again,
Yeah,
people are buying clean, ready-made properties. So if you can buy ugly, make it clean, you'll be paid handsomely
exactly.
for that effort. So
Ugliest house on the nicest block, right? That's the key. You don't
every
want to
time.
be the first nice house on an ugly block because
Correct.
it pulls everything down. But if you are the ugliest house on the nicest block, it's amazing. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of the opportunity.
No, and again, if you're doing that, again, I've told the audience for a long time we're in a bifurcated market. So let's be very clear. If you're in a market like San Bernardino, where the median home price is, call it 500, we are not talking about buying a eat up $2 million mansion that you
Yeah.
think's worth four. We're not doing that. We're buying below the median with enough cushion to do a full great remodel, no skimping, bring it up to FHA standards and selling it. It's
Yep.
that simple.
Yep. And I think if the more people are able to kind of take advantage of that, and also if you look in San Bernardino area, those kind of like median income is a little slightly lower, even in
Mm-hmm.
areas of California, whatever. There's a lot of Section 8 also going up.
Sure.
And for quality tenants, right? Those are people that are working hard. They're
Mm-hmm.
commuting to LA a lot of times. Like
Yep.
they're going to make their payments. They're working hard to live in a house. Like you can
Yep.
also get Section 8 subsidy, which is getting very popular out here.
Sure.
And if you do that, then you've just multiplied your return on cash by like 2x.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
amazing stuff.
Yeah.
You also wanted to talk about the spread between DSR and traditional before we wrap this up and you tell me goodbye and you get on the road.
Yeah. So it's interesting because obviously in the last week, we've seen conventional and just the 10-year and 5-year just shoot
Rip.
up. Just and it's funny because we've been talking about this, like we're like, hey, we don't think rates are gonna teeter-totter down anytime
Right.
soon.
Yeah.
But what I didn't actually honestly expect is for rates to shoot up like that.
Either. Yeah, they
Yeah.
went up. Monday was wild. Monday and
It-
Tuesday were wild.
insane. And we were like 4-1 on the 5-year last week, and we went up to
Yep.
4-3. We're 4-3 right now. So I'm like, you know, this is kind of one of those things again, like no one can time the market. No one
Yeah.
knows what's going to happen in the market, but there's still transactions going on.
Mhm.
A lot of clients that were looking at conventional previously might have gotten discouraged on conventional or basically can't qualify just because of the amount they file on taxes. And
Yeah.
I'm encouraging those people, hey, it's not necessary. You're not going to lose anything by going DSCR actually right now. In this market right now, you're not going to be losing going
No,
DSCR. Might be a small prepay, but it's not gonna be worth refinancing anyways in 3 years
exactly.
or less,
Doesn't
right?
matter. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So just take that loan, have it in your belt, right? And instead of 25% down right now, I just priced it out this morning. We're still in, I think it was like a 7%, 7.125 on a DSCR, and
Yeah.
conventional was like 7.3, 7.2.
Yeah.
So it's like the same thing.
Same
So it's
thing.
like
Yeah.
right now, like it might like DSCR obviously costs a little more to close than conventional, but it's
Sure.
like it's a write-off one, but two, it's like it's going to be worth it for you to be able to expand your portfolio in this
You get it
market.
done. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the key market to be able to get it done. Like you can't be skimping out on a dollar here, dollar there right now because you have to be able to expand right now while everyone else is kind of shrinking because
Exactly.
this is where the opportunity is created, like we're talking about. And I'm getting super excited about going too. It's like this is
Yeah.
where it is right now. Like I'm not just telling people,
Yeah.
hey, like
This is what you're doing. Yeah. Yeah.
I am physically doing this as well. I'm making drives out, meeting
Yeah.
other clients in different places, literally because this is the opportunity. Yeah.
I totally agree. I totally
Yeah.
agree. At the end of the day, folks, this is why Convoy Home Loans, Dustin and Jonathan come back each week. They continually invest in creating new products. They bring us new things, i.e. the HELOC and or seconds on small multifamilies. Jonathan is active in the business. He's done some ADU development, whatnot in LA. Now he's buying foreclosures. He's buying stuff out of state. I just love working with people who are actually investors, part of the One Rental at a Time family. If they want to reach out to Convoy to see if you can help them, how should they do that?
Go to convoyhomeloans.com and let us know you came from ORAT.
You got to tell them you came from ORAT so you get either Jonathan and or Dustin. If you don't, you will end up in a queue and you don't want to be in the queue. So tell them you came from ORAT. Thanks, buddy.
Yes. Thanks, Mike.
Uh-huh.